Okay, this is another episode of Tyranny Busters by Mike Benoit. Start off with Jefferson's quote, and I'm reading it because I got chastised for not quoting it perfectly. Form over substance. Jefferson said, I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. What did he mean? Mind control, controlling someone else's mind. It's not a way you can put a tyranny on somebody's mind. And you can do that a million different ways. Lie to them, give them misinformation, even tell them what you believe to be the truth. And of course, we're all players in that game too by accepting things that people say as if it's gospel without verifying it. So we help with the tyranny upon the mind. But anyway, I want to show you how collectivists, people who paint with a collectivist brush, are also putting tyrannies upon the mind of man. And collectivist brush versus individual brush. You know, they're, say, a race. There's people in a race, you pick the race, that are very smart. So, because you see these very smart people, all of a sudden, the collectivists will say the race is smart, or it might be physical ability, or et cetera, et cetera. So that's collectivism, painting people with that broad brush. Now, of course, even some people that are members of, and if you go to Russia, some people that are members of the Communist Party at the time, they didn't believe in the philosophy. They had to play to get along, to make a life. So that didn't mean they believed in the philosophy. So anyway, let's go to Pat Condell here and see if I can get to his screen on my system. Yeah, maybe this way here. Oh, here it is. He did a video, how to insult a progressive. And this video is how to insult a progressive insulter. And that's Pat Connolly. And then the video started off with, he was saying, someone advised him that, why is he always insulting the progressive? Because, that's not going to win anybody over. And he smugly replies, by not insulting them either, so what's the difference? In other words, that's not going to win them over either. So we're just going to insult them. Now, who are you insulting when you just insult someone called a progressive, or someone called a libertarian, or someone called a Republican? And what does progressive mean? What's he talking about here? I wonder why guys like him use the term progressive. Because what does that mean? Does it mean that they want to use that term because they don't want to use socialist? Because they are socialists. The difference is you got liberal socialists and conservative socialists. And 70% of America's budget is socialism. And Republicans get in charge. They don't want to call it a socialist country. So that's why they use the term progressive. I don't know what the hell they mean by progressive. Somebody that's in favor of, that they should have control over their own body and decide what they put in it. Now, so you got some progressives, socialists that are about that way when it comes to your own body, and then socialists that are opposite. So insulting some group of people is collectivism. Does no good. It does a good as far as putting a tyranny upon the mind of man. It's labeling them, and then you see a progressive. Well, I can just repeat what Pat Condell says, that they're hypocritical, they're bigoted, they don't get anything. Let's let him spew it himself here.
So what's the difference? Talking politics with a progressive is like talking religion with a Jehovah's Witness. If you don't play it for laughs, it will drive you up the wall. Because progressives only hear what they want to hear. And
progressives only hear what they want to hear. Of course, that's not true with true with conservatives or neocons or libertarians or socialists or communists. That's just progressives. And that's just happens to be lots of individuals are that way. They only want to hear what they want to hear. And it doesn't resonate with the programming. They don't want it. So, but he's going to say this is just progressives. This is not Pat Condell and whatever he stands for. This is the tyranny upon the mind of man. Whenever you use that painted brush, that these people are that way, these people are that way, these people are that way. You can't get away with that in race discussion anymore. But certainly he got away with it in the religious attack on the Jehovah's Witnesses. And now he, of course, gets away with it on attacking the progressives. But we know it's collectivists that think that way, or I know that. I hope you know that think the way this guy thinks. That these people are all the same. Some folks that live that might call themselves progressives, maybe they're against socialism. I don't know what this guy's in favor of or not, because he's not talking an issue here. He's just talking a term that you can have people with 100 different viewpoints call themselves a progressive.
What they are determined to hear, regardless of what is actually being said. However clearly and unambiguously you argue for secularism or democracy or free speech or any other civilized value, progressives will hear prejudice, hatred, xenophobia, and racism, especially racism, because it's what they need to hear. Otherwise, they'd have to address the arguments. And
let's play that again. Let's play that again.
Because it's what they need to hear, this hatred or free speech or any other civilized value, progressives will hear prejudice, hatred, xenophobia.
So there you go. This is what progressives will hear when they hear any other civilized value. This is what they're going to hear. All right? And so this is the gospel according to Pat Condell. And you best, believe this, be a Pat Condell guru supporter. And this is how progressives think. Any civilized value, they're going to just hear da 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 da, and just throw all these human beings into this one category, and don't discuss an issue with them or with this person, what a singular person, and show them why they're wrong on that issue. We're just going to adopt this viewpoint and plaster it on all of these people over there, and that's them. That's it. Now, guys like this Pat Condell, and you know what? There's guys in the anarchist group too. You get 250,000 subscribers. This guy certainly don't fit in that thing here. And actually, I haven't used my screen share properly here. Just for a second, I'll play a little bit. If I can bring it up here. There it is. And see if we can bring that up on the screen share. And you'll see them this way. And then maybe if I play it, you'll also see just a little bit. Will that come on the screen share? Yeah, I think so.
And racism, especially racism, because it's what they need to hear. Otherwise, they'd have to address the arguments and expose their shameless double standards. This way, they can simply attack your character, which is, of course, what they always do.
Now,
these people shouldn't be insulted.
See, what is this guy doing but attacking the character of anybody who labels themselves a progressive? Just think about this a little bit and see if he's not building a tyranny upon the mind of man. And it's just like if you like this guy and he's saying this stuff and you don't examine it, then it's going to go in, and boy, that's how you're going to see progressives, whatever that might be. But anybody who's a socialist, and I'll define that for you, is someone that believes in taking the property of someone who it belongs to and giving it to someone whom it does not belong to, is a communist socialist. One of those two. Okay? And let's talk about the right or wrongness of that. Maybe we get somewhere. I think that's all I'm going to do on this because short attention span, I got that too. So let's see. There, that ends a picture sharing there. So this is a presentation of Mike Benoit's Tyranny Busters. Hope you get something from it. My channel, Michael Benoit 7 on the YouTube. And remember, ask yourself, is that opinion that you hold something that you thought through and got for yourself? Or was that opinion kind of fed to you as a tyranny upon your mind? Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.